Okay, so like the title says, I'm going to be showing you folks how to do your fringes properly based on the scripture. So we could stop messing this part. Yeah, so we could stop messing this up, because a lot of people don't wear them because they're saying that, you know, it's too expensive and all this type of stuff. So I'm just going to be pointing out from the scriptures exactly how we're supposed to wear them and show you how it is actually very affordable, whereby you can get it done to your garments for maybe $3 a piece. So let me just send a few requests and get some people in here who had asked me about this. So just bear with me for a little bit before I start. Yeah, so greetings and peace to everyone. Just getting some people to come in here who are asking about the proper way to wear their fringes. So I'm going to be showing you based on the scriptures exactly how that is supposed to be done in a manner whereby it is affordable, because it's really not as expensive as everyone thinks it is, and we know that the commandments are not grievous. So in whatever situation you're in, you can still pull this off comfortably. So like I said, I'm just inviting a few people who had told me that they wanted to know. It wouldn't take much longer. So this is what we have right here. This is just a t-shirt. Now, if we were to really be technical about it, t-shirts is not a Hebrew garment, but I'm not really highlighting that part right now. I'm gonna bring that out in a full video that I'm gonna break down about Hebrew garments, but I'm not really doing any full teachings right now either, because I gotta read through the entire Bible and some other books that I came across recently. So I'm going to go through all that process, and then when I come back, I'm going to be doing a lot more videos with teachings and full breakdowns. But I'm not getting into the details of how we're supposed to dress, but I'm just letting you know off the bat that t-shirts is not a part of our Hebrew culture or custom. But basically, according to the scriptures now that we have, it talks about where we're going to wear the garments. Right? I mean, where we're going to wear the fringes and the ribbon. And a lot of people misunderstand this, or they misuse this, and they just put it down here. Right? They just put it at the bottom. But that's inaccurate, and I'm going to go into the scriptures and show you why and how that is inaccurate. It says the 4 quarters where you cover yourself. Okay, so we're going to read that. So alright, let's start. Let's go to Deuteronomy chapter 22, verse 11. Right? Deuteronomy chapter 22, verse 11. I'm going to read 11 and 12, and it says, "Thou shalt not wear a garment of divers sorts, as of woolen and linen mixed together." So we already have the understanding on this. You know, whatever we're going to be wearing, it has to be a natural fabric, and it has to be 100%. Right, so it could be 100% cotton, 100% linen. And a lot of people also believe that you can wear like polyester, but that's not, polyester is not a natural fabric, and it actually comes from 2 Greek gods, Poly and Esther, when you really go into it. So it's not, and silk comes from the silkworm. A worm is an unclean animal, so we're not going to be using anything from unclean animals and putting that on our temples. Okay, so linen, cotton, that's what we're looking at. So now in verse 12 it says, thou shalt make thee fringes upon the 4 quarters of thy vesture, wherewith thou cover thyself. So it talks about 4 quarters. So what's that? Where you cover yourself. So you have the torso, that's down here. You have the sleeves, both sleeves, and you have the neck. It says the 4 quarters where you cover yourself. So you don't just cover yourself down here, and this is not a quarter. This is 1/4. So it's 4 places, right? So that's shoulders, neck, and torso down below. That's the proper positioning for where the ribbon is supposed to go. Okay? So I'm gonna go over all this because I see more people coming in afterwards, but I'll go over that later on. I'll just start over and just keep going from whoever was here. Now let's look at Numbers chapter 15 verse 37. It says, and the word spake unto Moses, saying, speak unto the children of Israel, and bid them that they make them fringes in the borders of their garments throughout their generations, and that they put upon the fringe of the borders a ribbon of blue. Okay, so let me go over that point again. It says, speak unto the children of Israel, and bid them that they make them fringes in the borders of their garments. So the fringes actually go in the borders of the garments. It's not something that you attach separately. I'm going to show you. I have a little tool there that I'm going to show you exactly where they're supposed to go. So it says that they go in the borders of the garments. So the expense that people are incurring is because they're going and they're purchasing fringes in addition to put it on top of the garments, and that's not accurate. That's where you're spending a lot of money, and yeah, it's wasting money because it's not in accordance with what the scriptures really say. So they're supposed to actually go inside within the actual garment, within the clothing, right? That's where the fringes go. You don't have to purchase something separately and attach it to your garments, right? So that's another point. Then it says in Numbers 15 and 39, it says, and it shall be unto you for a fringe, that ye may look upon it, and remember all the commandments of the highest, and do them, and that ye seek not after your own heart and your own eyes, after which ye used to go a-whoring, that ye remember and do all my commandments, and be holy unto your power. So with that verse, you have people who say, well, you know, we're not really supposed to, we don't have to wear them or what have you. But the scriptures is telling you that, listen, when you put this on, people are going to remember. Okay? I mean, we have so much dealing with on a daily that it's not far-fetched for anyone to forget something that we're supposed to be doing. But imagine going out and you see people adorned in this righteous attire and you know exactly what it's about. That's an ease to your soul. That's a reminder right there. So there's really no reason for someone to say, well, you know, you don't have to wear it, because first of all, it tells you that you're supposed to wear it throughout your generations, right? So this is not something that's optional, you know. So it's in all righteousness that this is how we adorn ourselves. Now I'm also going to go into the New Testament and show you some examples of how the fringes were worn, right? So before I do that, let me just show you what I'm talking about in relations to the borders, because the fringes go in the borders. So this is a fringe scissors, okay? So I'm talking about the expense that people have put on themselves, or even to why they say that, you know, they can't afford the fringes. This scissors is about $10, all right? I have this ribbon right here. This was about 160. It's about 160 yards of ribbon, and this was also about 10 bucks. Okay, so you can see that this can actually go on a lot of your clothing. You know, this is, I mean, you don't have enough clothes to cover this, and it's, like I said, it's 10 bucks. So you have that. You have your scissors, which is another 10 bucks. So you have 20 bucks. So just off of that, and then you'd have to sew you'd have to sew the ribbon in the 4 quarters as commanded. All right, so however you want to go about that, if you want to learn to sew, if you know somebody who knows how to sew, I mean, that's up to you. If you're really in a bind, you got this. This is fabric glue, you know, and I've used it before to hold the borders on, and it sticks pretty good. You could also wash. I mean, I wouldn't say that that's the ideal way, but I mean, if you're really trying to do what you're supposed to do, you don't want to, you know, you don't want to be without the laws and the commandments and all that, then you got to do what you have to do. So I'm just trying to help you out on that. But ideally, I would say, you know, if you can get it sewn on, sew it on. Do it yourself, take it to someone you know, or whatever. So this is where they go, in the 4 quarters of your vesture. 4 quarters, not just in the torso. Not in the torso. And it does not say corners. A lot of people say that the scriptures say corners. It does not say that. It says the 4 quarters. So let me just set up this stand right quick so I could show you exactly how this scissors works. Right? So let me show you that. 1 second. Okay, I think you can see me. So it's just like any other scissors. You lay it out, get in here, and you cut. So this is fringes. Like it told you, it says to make it in the borders of your garments, so you do not take something external and attach it to your clothing. The fringes actually go on your garments. So let me just show you how that's gonna look after a while, right? So I'm just going through it so you can see. So this is how your fringes would end up looking. So I mean, if you wanna, you can get more technical with it, and it would separate more as, you know, you wear the garment, as you wash it, so it would actually stand out more. Okay, but if you really wanted to get into it, you could go in individually and make another cut, etc., etc. You could also fray it, like make it thread. I don't know if you've seen that before, but that's another way that you can do it. So that's all you do with this scissors right here, right? And you go through your garments, and there you have peace, sister, and there you have the your fringe. So I'm gonna show you some stuff from the New Testament, speaking on the borders and stuff like that. And like I said, I'm still gonna, for whoever came in afterwards, I'm gonna go over this breakdown one more time. But so Matthew chapter 23 verse 2, it says, the scribes and the Pharisees sit in Moses' seat. All therefore whatsoever they bid you observe, that observe and do. But do not ye after their works, for they say and do not. For they bind heavy burdens and grievous to be borne, and lay them on men's shoulders, but they themselves would not move them with one of their fingers. But all their works they do for to be seen of men. They make broad their phylacteries, and enlarge the borders of their garments. Right? So it's talking about this ribbon right here. So I'm just bringing that point out to show you that it's not something that's supposed to be very broad. You know, it's thin, right? So it's saying that they make it broad so they could show off and they could be seen. So because that's what they were about. Okay, and again it talks about you know, verse 5, Matthew 23 verse 5. It says, but all their works they do to be seen of men. They make broad their phylacteries and enlarge the borders of their garments. So they just overdo it, right? And again it talks about borders of their garments. So this the only precept we could have for this, talking about borders, is when we go back to Numbers. So I'm bringing this out to show you that people were still wearing their fringes now and their borders, but the Messiah, he never told them not to wear it. He was just pointing out that they were overdoing it. They were just trying to be boastful and showing up. Okay, now I'm going to show you another example. We have here Mark chapter 6 verse 56. It says, and whithersoever he entered into villages or cities or country, they laid the sick in the streets and besought him that they might touch, if it were but the border of his garment. And as many as touched him were made whole. So again, there's some type of strength and power in keeping the commandments, in following righteousness. And these people already knew that. So all they wanted to do was touch the border. They just wanted the border of the garments. Okay, so this again shows you that even the Messiah was following what was before him. Okay, there's no change in this. There's no change in it, right? Now we have here Luke chapter 8 verse 44. It says, came behind him and touched the borders of his garment, and immediately her issue of blood snatched. Right? So it was taken away. So again, I'm just bringing those out to show you about you know, the ribbon of blue, the borders in your garments was not, it's not something that was exiled. It was not put away. Nobody said not to do it anymore. If we really want to be righteous, and when you go out you could interact with other Hebrews, you know who you need to speak to. If you're in a situation, you know who you can trust. If you see somebody, and a lot of people are always asking like, oh, are there any Hebrews in this area and that area? This is the perfect way to network, because I've personally met people just by this, in different places, just by identifying them by keeping the commandments. So it's like now you gain a brother, you gain a sister. So there's nothing really to kick against in terms of this. So I'm just gonna, that's it really. I'm just gonna go over from the top with the scriptures, breaking it down again for whoever came in afterwards. Then I'll show you also how to use the fringe scissors, and explain to you why you don't have to go and purchase stuff that's extra, right? And again, the ribbon, this ribbon that I got, 160 something yards, it was 10 bucks. So that's like, I don't know how often you're gonna have to spend and how much clothing you have, but it could definitely do your entire wardrobe. And this is the fringe scissors, also 10 bucks. Okay, so I'm gonna go again from the top. It says, Deuteronomy chapter 22 verse 11, thou shalt not wear a garment of diverse sorts, as of woolen and linen together. So we already have the understanding of that. We're not supposed to mix fabrics. So it's not 60% cotton and 40% polyester or what have you. We don't deal with that, right? So now in verse 12 it says, in Deuteronomy 22 verse 12, it says, thou shalt make thee fringes upon the four quarters of thy vesture, wherewith thou cover thyself. So this point is key, because a lot of people believe that you only wear it at the torso, at the bottom, down here. But that's not what the scripture says. The scripture says to wear it on the four quarters where you cover yourself. So where are the four areas of your body that you cover yourself? That's your torso, your arms, and your neck. Okay, and I'm gonna bring the precept out in Numbers as to why it's that also, right? So again, Deuteronomy 22 verse 12, thou shalt make thee fringes upon the four quarters of thy vesture, wherewith thou coverest thyself. I also said that a t-shirt is really not a Hebrew garment, and I'm going to be doing a full breakdown on how we're supposed to dress later on, but for the sake of understanding, this is the example that I'm using to bring it out to you. All right. So now in Numbers chapter 15 verse 37, it says, "And the word spake unto Moses, saying, Speak unto the children of Israel, and bid them that they make them fringes in the borders of their garments throughout their generations." So borders is more than one, right? So again, when it talks about the 4 quarters, it has to be 4 separate places where you cover yourself: neck, arms, torso. Okay. And it says, "And that they put upon the fringes of the borders a ribbon of blue." So they're gonna put upon the fringe of the borders a ribbon of blue. So that's where the ribbon comes in, right? As we know. And again, it says that the fringes go on the borders of the garment. It's not something that you get additionally and put it on your garment. You actually have to make the fringes from the garment itself. So this is going to help with a lot of people who saying that fringes are expensive, because they go out and they want to purchase, you know, fringes separately outside of their clothing, whereby they can already make it. Okay. Now it says in verse 39, Numbers 15 verse 39, it says, "And it came, and it shall be unto you for a fringe, that ye may look upon it, and remember all the commandments of the highest, and do them." So the whole purpose of this is for us to remember the commandments. Now a lot of people would argue and say, well, oh, I have the commandments in my heart, I remember it, etc., etc., I don't need to wear my fringes. That's being very selfish, because yeah, you might have it, but somebody else might need to see that righteousness. Somebody else might need to get the understanding and get that conviction. They might be out somewhere, and then, I don't know, they might see a brother or a sister passing the fringes, and they could avoid whatever malicious activity they were about to get into just based off of that. So it definitely helps, and it's not something where we should be selfish about and say, well, okay, I'm good, I'm straight, I don't need to follow all of that, right? So I'm gonna continue reading that. "That ye may look upon it, and remember all the commandments of the highest, and that ye seek not after your own heart." So don't do your own will. Do what it is the scriptures tell you to do. It says, "And that ye seek not after your own heart." So your own heart is what is telling you that, hey, I don't need to wear my fringes. That's not in line with what the scriptures are telling us. There's nothing to really argue on that note, you know, whether we're supposed to wear it or not. It's very plain. Nobody told you to stop wearing them. So then it says, "After which ye used to go a-whoring, that ye may remember and do all my commandments, and be holy unto your power." So it's a reminder. It's a reminder for us. It's a reminder for people that might be looking at us, even if you think that you're so perfect that you always remember everything you're supposed to do. So I'm just going to talk about, I know I said that I'm not doing a video breaking down the Hebrew attire and all that, but basically what would happen is we would wear, like the sisters, they would wear a full dress, like a one piece, right? And there's always a girdle around them, which you could call like a thick belt that you would wear around your waist. So this ribbon of blue and the fringes would go on the borders at the bottom, on the neck, on the torso, right? And for the men, it wouldn't be a t-shirt, it would be longer than that, because men also had to wear a linen girdle. And you could look this up in the scriptures on your own and see. So it would go down to your thigh. It's not a dress. Men did not wear these dresses whereby people are always saying that, oh, the men in the Bible wore dresses to the floor or what have you. That's completely inaccurate. Men don't dress like that. But now, there's another point I wanted to bring out here. Let me see 1 second. Okay, I can't remember what that other point was, but I'll just continue. So now when we go into the New Testament, we're going to see that the Messiah was also in line with this, and people already knew what it was. But they shunned the scribes and Pharisees who were overdoing it. I'll just go to Matthew 23 verse 5. It says, "But all their works they do for to be seen of men," talking about the scribes and the Pharisees, It says, they make broad their phylacteries and enlarge the borders of their garments. So they were overdoing the ribbon of blue with the borders, in the borders. They were overdoing it, right? It says they enlarged it, right? They enlarged the borders of their garments. So there's no need for you to try to be superhero righteous and be like, people can see your fringes from 3 miles away. So that's all you need, just a thin ribbon going straight across that's very visible, right? Like I said, it was $10 for this. All this ribbon, 100% cotton. So now I'm going to show you Mark chapter 6 verse 56. It says, and wheresoever ye enter into villages or cities or countries, they laid the sick in the streets and besought him, that they might touch, if it were, by the border of his garment. And as many as touched him were made whole. Right? So again, going back to the borders of this garment, the borders of this garment, this is all in righteousness. So they knew the power of keeping the commandments. And if we're talking about the borders of the garments, then the Messiah was doing the same thing. Right? So Luke 8 verse 44, it says, came behind him and touched the border of his garments, and immediately her issue of blood stench. Right? So it was taken away. So again, when you go back to the precept in Numbers, it talks about the borders. And I mean, like we know, commandments are not dead. They're not done away. The only thing that has changed is certain situations. You know, like people could say, well, you know, you don't have to keep the Sabbath, but that's not possible because the sun and the moon still exist. You see, so until the day when the skies break and the Messiah comes back and the Father comes and he says that he will be the light, so there will be no more sun and no more moon. So we're going to be resting in him. So in a situation like that, you can talk about something changing, but it has not changed because the true Sabbath keepers know to follow the sun and the moon. Now, if we wanted to look into something like sacrifices for sin and shedding blood, we know that it's not possible to do that, because first of all, if we were to go that route, then we're saying that the lamb that was sacrificed is in vain, because he is our Passover. He is the lamb that was slain. So we go to him as our priest. And scriptures also tell you that if you do not sacrifice the animal before the priest in the temple, you're going to be cut off, because he hates the shedding of blood. So that's another lesson. That's just to show you that as long as we're wearing clothing, basically, we have to wear these borders of blue, and we have to wear the fringes. It's a good identification for us to interact with our brothers and sisters in the truth. And you know, if we get into any problems where we're traveling or whatever, we could see somebody and we could say, well, okay, this is somebody I could trust to ask a question, etc., etc. And it would just look so righteous to have us together, unified, dressed in the proper attire, you know, coming out from the world as the scripture has commanded us to. So I'm going to show you one more time how to actually use the scissors. I mean, it's just the scissors. It's nothing special. Same way you use a regular one with one blade or two blades. 1 second. Alright, so just come here, lay your garment out, and you go around the borders of it. It like the scripture told you, the fringes go on your actual garment. It's not something that you get externally and you attach to your clothing. And I had a brother mention one time who was saying that the reason why you don't attach it externally is because with the ribbon of blue, it holds the garment from unraveling. So he's saying that without the commandments, you know, you're naked, because your garment would come apart. And that was just an interesting analogy, an interesting way to look at it that I just wanted to share with you guys. So yeah, all you do, you just go around. And like I said, you can't see it as much now, but when you wet your clothing or what have you, or wash it, you'd see it even more distinctively. It would stand out. So that's all you do. Alright. And there you would have your fringes. So again, it's to show you that you don't have to be spending all that money that you think you have to be spending on your garments. I got the scissors from Amazon. Just go to Amazon and type in fringe scissors and you would see it. They'll come up. That's where I got this ribbon also. 10 bucks for the ribbon, 100% cotton, 10 bucks for the scissors. And that's it. And again, you know, you have to wear it. Oh yeah, I remember the point now that I said I wanted to make earlier. In the scriptures in Deuteronomy, it says that it should be for a fringe that if anyone looks upon it. Okay, so that's a key point. It says looks upon. So basically, it has to be something that is visual when you see someone in front of you. You don't have to look down. You don't have to look down to see it. And especially with women who wear long dresses to the floor, right? No one can really see it. So it has to be something that engages the eyes when you come in contact with somebody. So it says that anyone who looks upon it, upon is above. So you can't just have it down here at the torso, right? Because upon is above. You know, so even if you let's say I was doing a video and I'm sitting down and I only have them on my torso, you can't see it. If I'm driving in a car, you can't see it, you know, stuff like that. So the proper way to wear it is like the scripture says, in the 4 quarters whereby you cover yourself, right? So that's it. That's all there is to it. It's really not as expensive as everyone thinks. And I showed you the glue. There's fabric glue. If you're really in a tight spot, you know, you can get some fabric glue and put the ribbon on. If you know how to sew, you can have it sewn on, right? So I mean, you have options. Definitely have options. That's really all there is to it. So this is the correct way to wear your fringes and the border, the ribbon of blue. And that's it. See, nobody has any questions, so I guess we're good. I'll be signing off for now. Peace. Salam.